How y'all doing today?
Hello.
Hello. I'm glad to be here. So in my presentation, I'm going to go over my Better Credit Framework. So this is an easy 3-step system to improving your credit score in 6 months or less.
Sorry,
Oh, you're
I
fine.
got you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Cool. So like I said, my name is Josh. I'm founder of Independence Boost. That's the name of my company. So I got started January of 2021. So with my my business, I call it credit advocacy, just because my main goal is to advocate on your behalf to make sure that you have your overall accuracy of your credit report is up to par, and just advocating your behalf to get you to your goal, whether it is buying a home or just having good credit in general. I use the word credit repair, but I try to stay away from that word because technically you can't repair something that's like accurate. So I like the term advocate. So that's my whole goal for you. Excellent. So I want to go into a little bit of the story of how I got started, so then that way I can just build some trust with you. So I bought my first credit course in 2017. So that was December 17th. So I have the receipt there. So with that, that was the first time I ever looked at my credit score. Also, I found out I had student loans that I had no idea I had. I thought when I was in college, because I had like the grants and whatnot, so I thought I didn't have any student loans. But come to find out, because I actually went full-time in entrepreneurship my junior year of college, so I stopped going. So of course, my student loans started to hit, and I noticed I had some late payments, and I was like, oh, and that's when I found that out. But luckily, with that course and getting that education, I was able to get the late payments reversed and marked as paid as agreed on my report. I was able to get access to credit cards, get increased limits on those credit cards, and then I went from a 580 score initially to a 700 plus. So in 2020, during the pandemic, I actually started helping a handful of people because I did it for myself. And the reason I started during that time is because I previously had a marketing agency that had for about 4 years. But I was working with a chiropractor, so when all the pandemic happened, I actually had to stop charging my clients. So I was trying to figure out figure out what skills I had where I could like pivot, and credit was one of those ways because I had the skill, I did it for myself, and I was able to help other people. So fast forward through that year, marketing agency kind of got back on track because they can start getting patients in again. But then of January 2021, that's when I went all in with Independence Boost, and that's when I started it, stopped the marketing agency, and then went all in with credit. So these are some things that I learned during that 2020 to 2022 period when I first got started. So first, there is no secret letter that will magically delete negative, inaccurate items off of your credit report, no matter what the credit gurus tell you. I'm not sure if you've seen social media posts. Yeah, where like, I got the secret law that's going to delete everything off of your report. It's clickbait. It's not true. That's just a way for them to get clicks. It's a way for them to, get you in and get you in their ecosystem. But I learned that because I was sending out letters, and I'm like, man, this is the letter that's going to do it. Nothing happened. This is the law that's going to do it. Nothing happened. And I'll get into exactly how the process actually works. But I also learned just because you get deletions on your credit report doesn't mean your credit score will improve. So I had clients during this process, they was getting deletions, but the score wasn't improving. And they're like, man, thanks for the deletion, Josh, but what about my score? Then that's when I learned that credit building is just as important as getting things deleted off of your credit report as well. So with my clients, I really stress, and I'll get into that here shortly, credit building. Like that's the fastest way to get you to your goal. And then I also learned that credit repair takes time. Some people get faster results than others, but if you stay consistent and you follow the process, you will get the desired results. It's about consistency. That's the main thing that I learned through this process. It's about just doing the things consistently. If you don't do the things consistently, you're not going to get the result that you're looking for. Thanks a lot. So I even have my own credit troubles. So imagine me helping people with their credit, and then my credit gets messed up temporarily. So kind of going back to the story of 2021 when I started a new business, I started from zero again. So I had a business partner, went through some bad stuff with that, so I had to start over at zero again. So of course, I had to leverage my own personal credit and the credit cards that I had to be able to invest in my business, be able to function from month to month. So from doing that, though, I incurred some late payments over the course of the next few months because just wasn't generating enough income fast enough. Got hit with some charge-offs, my accounts closed, and it dropped my score from a 740 to the low 500s. Slide. But following my better credit framework, so following the exact steps I'm going to outline to you, I learned that this framework works for anyone who follows it consistently. I'm not just speaking from experience. I'm not just speaking from experience from helping others. I'm speaking from the experience of also helping myself. So I know for a fact, as long as these principles are followed, the result will come. So can I share my better credit framework with you guys? Y'all ready? Cool. So this is the framework, and I'm going to break down this, but it's 3 simple steps that we're going to do throughout this process. This is the exact process that I take my clients through, so you can choose to do it yourself, or say if you work with me, I can't speak for anyone else. This is the process that I will take you through. Next slide. So here are the 3 things that you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to increase your credit score without disputing anything, how to maintain good credit, and then how to delete negative, inaccurate information from your credit report. So step 1, how to increase your credit score without disputing anything. So this is by far the fastest way to get you to the result. And this is without even sending out letters. This is without doing any of that stuff. So this is the strategy. And I call it the 3-2 method. And I actually learned this from one of my mentors. You want to add 5 credit building accounts to your profile. So these accounts, you want to add them same day. But these are accounts that have no hard pull. So they're not going to give you hard inquiries. They're not going to affect, because I know that affects the home buying process. So I don't want to hurt your process. I want to help your process. So with these 5 accounts, 3 of them will be revolving. 2 of them will be installment accounts. So this is why this is so powerful. For one, because we're working on the payment history, which accounts for 35% of your score, and we're working on utilization, which is 30% of your score. So imagine, I don't know what's on your credit report right now, but just imagine adding 5 new accounts, and now you have 5 new on-time payments hitting your report every single month, and then fast forward a year, now you have 60 extra on-time payments hitting your report every single month. And that's just minimum 5. You know, say if you want to do some other things, you can definitely do that, but that's going to help you see a major result. And I have some slides in the future that I'm going to show you the impact that it has on clients' credit reports. So some example of potential credit building accounts that you can add. So with these accounts, they do have fees. You're going to have to invest. You're going to have to invest in your credit. I actually just made a post about this on Facebook the other way. There's no such thing as fixing your credit for free. It does take an investment. It doesn't matter if you're doing it yourself or hiring someone to do it for you. It's going to take that, but it's worth it. So some of them have one-time payments to them. Some of them have small monthly payments to them. I just recommend just doing it. It's going to help you. So there's one called Kickoff that accounts for like a revolving on your report. There's Credit Strong Revolve. There's Credit Strong Installment. There's Extra, which is like a debit card that you can use that builds your credit. There's Boom. So if you're paying rent, you can pay your upcoming rent and you can pay your previous rent on your month for like 2 years. It backtracks 2 years, so you can backtrack 2 months of rent or 24 months of rent. Say if you had the same lease for 2 years. There's Self, Kovo, Experian has some credit building stuff. Chime is a great account. So there's plenty of them out there that you can choose from. But these are great accounts that you can add to help build your credit that have no hard impact on your credit score. It is something that will help you. So step number 2, how to maintain good credit. And I'm going to talk about payment history and utilization and the strategy behind that. So like I said, payment history and utilization is the biggest factors in your credit score and your credit report. So those are the main things that we want to focus on during this process. Yes, there's other factors, credit mix, there's new credit, there's length of credit history. Those are important as well, but they're not as important as these. So first things first, with payment history, you want to be making all your payments on time. So that's just rule of thumb. One late payment can drop your score 80 plus points and just destroy your score. So you want to make sure whatever you got to do, automatic payments, having reminders, whatever you need to do, just make sure you don't miss payments because that's going to hurt you. Next is utilization. That's 30% of your score. So over here in this diagram, so I have the 100% payment history, but then where you want to be with utilization is between 1 and 10%. So if you go to Google, they're going to say 30% or below, but the sweet spot is 1 to 10%. The best spot to be is 6% reporting utilization on your credit report. That's going to have the algorithm really working for you, and that's where you're going to see the best results. So for example, what that looks like, say currently now, if you have a credit limit of $1,000, don't spend more than $60 on that card. Just keep it there. Don't spend more than $60. And then if you have 4 different credit cards, just do the math, whatever 6% of that, don't go over that, especially leading up to the home buying process. Now we're going to talk about how to delete negative and inaccurate information on your credit report. So, not sure if you know this, but 79% of credit reports all contain some type of errors in them. So that's when I say I'm advocating on your behalf to make sure you have a 100% accurate report, and that's your right that you have when it comes to credit. So that's what we're looking for, and that's what I'm looking for with clients. So how to get started with challenging these things. So first, you want to access your credit report. Get one where you can see all 3 bureaus. So what you're going to see though with different credit monitoring, different credit reports, they're all going to have slightly different scores. They might have different things reporting. That's okay. All that means is that they're just pulling different data from different places. So don't freak out. But when you get your access to your credit report, you want to look at each section. You want to go to your personal information section. You want to make sure that your name's listed correctly. You want to make sure your date of birth. Now, that may seem simple, but you should be surprised. I have clients sometimes where I look at their credit report and their personal information, and I'm going over the report with them, and their date of birth is wrong. Or they have their brother's address as their address. So they have an address they don't even know about, or just names they don't even know about. And if that's the case, now they're dealing with identity theft, probably most likely. So you want to make sure that's good. Go through all your revolving accounts, go through all your loans, look at your payment history. A lot of times, if you look at payment history on your reports from TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, one might say in January of 2021, you have a 30-day late payment. But the other bureau might say you have an on-time payment of January of 2021. So that's an error that you need to look for, and that's cause to be able to get that stuff cleaned up from your report and get it back in good standings. And then like I said, you have the right to a 100% accurate report. So that's my main goal with clients, is making sure that's the case. I also want to say credit repair is not guaranteed. Like I said, don't listen to the credit gurus out there that's going to tell you I can guarantee you results. If someone ever says that to you, run. That's major red flag. It's not true. So you just want to look out for those type of things. So next, and this is exactly what I do for my clients, and this is what I advise clients to do, or even anyone in general who is disputing stuff on their own. First, well, you want to send these all at the same time, but you want to send letters to TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. So those are the big 3 bureaus. I'm not sure if you know this, but they're all different entities. So when you see your score for TransUnion one way, Equifax one way, TransUnion one way, that's because they don't communicate with each other. Next, you want to send letters to the secondary bureaus. So there's LexisNexis, Innovis, LCI, ARS, Credco. The reason you also want to send to the secondary bureaus is because when you're challenging stuff from TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, they're going to go to the secondary bureaus to try to verify that information. So you simultaneously want to be also getting that stuff cleaned up with them as well. So then that way, when they report back, it just helps the process. And then lastly, you want to send letters to the original creditors. So that's what I do for my clients. That's what I advise people to do. So you're hitting all 3. And now, say if you go work with someone else, most likely most credit repair people aren't going to send all 3 because it's expensive to send that many letters, relatively speaking. Most of them, I can just tell they're not even sending all those letters because I can see their prices online. I'm like, there's no way they're even hitting all 3. So that's what I do for my clients. That's how you get the best results. Next slide. So how long does the process take? So I always tell people, for one, there's no way to tell that because it's a back and forth with the bureaus. You got to send letters out, you got to wait. They might send a stall response. They might try to, say, hey, we can't verify this is you. That's just a stall response. It's a computer-generated response to get you to stop the process. So what I like to tell clients is stay consistent. That's key. But the process could take up to a month or two to see some smaller significant results. But if it takes a year, that's okay. Like, you got to get it done. Time's going to pass regardless. You got to get it done regardless. So time, doesn't matter. So you just need to just keep hitting them. That's how you get the best results. So just to kind of go over some results of clients that I've had that follow the framework. So I will say I have some that don't listen to what I say and they don't get the results they want. But the ones that do listen to what I say and they follow the framework exactly, these are some things that happen. So this client started November 7th of 2023. This is from March 13th. So they started at 561, 536, 540. They're at 643, 635, 636. Just by adding those credit building accounts, having myself dispute the inaccuracies on the credit report. Again, this client started in January 13th of 2024. 586, 585, 584, 628, 658, 625. Same thing. This one started March 19th. This is April 23rd. Just, last week? They started at 570, 571, 616, 619, 619. And then same thing. Like these are clients that follow the framework. If you do the work, if you stay consistent, you'll get the result. Now I will say results aren't typical, but if you follow the process, you should see some significant results. Some clients, I've had scenarios where disputing things, it may be month 7 to get this big account they've been trying to get cleaned up off the report, but 7 months, once it's done, it's done. Time's gonna pass regardless. So as long as you follow the framework, you'll get the results. So if you're having a question like, what are these accounts? So I have a free resource right here. I actually have a free community. I have a free course that goes over the exact accounts that you can add to your credit profile. In this community, you can ask questions if you go over that information. Say if you're like, hey, Josh, I don't want to work with you, but I want to do it myself. I have a free, the tool is not free, but I have a credit repair software that creates custom letters that can actually dispute the information or create the letters for you. And all you got to do is mail them out. You don't got to do no thinking, none of that stuff. It just print them out and mail them. And then every 40 days, it emails you, let you know the next time you're supposed to send out your next round of letters. Or if you're like, hey, I don't got the time for this, which is the case for a lot of people, you can just book a consultation. Usually how that works is 20-minute call. I'll figure out if I can actually help you or not. If I can't help you, we meet in person at my office and to get you started. So pretty simple process for my clients. But like I said, if you follow those things, even if you choose to do it yourself, you should see some results. And that's the exact process I take my clients through.